Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is Local Chat, episode 223. I'm your host, Will Crosby. Joining me this week is Jake Terrio.
It's me.
Dude, get up here. Jake Terrio.
Dude,
get up here. You folks, you got to be in the pre-show. Ian asked a very interesting question right before
and we got World War II out of the way already.
Yeah, we got World War II. I'm not going to say what the question was, but the answer is yes. Folks.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the answer is I would serve. Look at this style. Look at this drip right here.
Oh, no. He's wearing the shirt of the guy I don't know.
that's all you need, really.
It's Mahatma Gandhi? That's his name?
We killed his daughters.
Oh, okay.
That's all you need to know.
we got him. That's the we got him.
We did. We
got him.
Folks,
that's the we got him.
We're here to talk about video games and all sorts of things. There's a chit chat section, but it is unfortunately blank, which means
no chat.
We literally cannot talk about anything. We simply have to move on to the video games we've been playing this week. Is that okay with everyone? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, moving forward. I'm going to go very quickly through my stuff. I'm not going to talk about them long, other than to chastise Ian, but I will get through here very quickly. I have finished Rise of Nations, Rise of Legends, which is the fantastical sequel to Rise of Nations, an RTS game.
Did you? I'm trying to remember. You skipped Rise of Nations, right? I
didn't play any of Rise of Nations. I got in at Rise of Legends.
Is there a Rise of Nations 2? Or is that
I can't remember. I think there's just one.
Okay.
Overall, it was really fun. The first campaign, you're like fighting this doge who attacks you. The second campaign, you're in the desert, fighting like the Dark Aline, and it's more like Arabian Nights sort of stuff, and you're getting all these magic users and stuff. And then the third one is about the Quaddle, which they're basically like your Aztec, Incan, South American sort of gods and that sort of style, but they've found a alien artifact that you've been tracking through all three campaigns, and they advance technology really quickly. So overall it's very fun. The first two campaigns were great because they had like interesting missions, like prison breaks, and like just it wasn't just like go capture this place or capture the enemy cities. And that is the problem with the third campaign. Like 80% of the missions, and there's probably 15-20 missions, are all the Quaddle are here, we have to take over their cities. And then you just go to the next one. The Quaddle are here, we have to take over their cities. And it's just like,
wait, who are the Quaddle? Like they're like Palestinians, you got to take over their land or something?
No, it's worse. It's like well, I should say worse. It's you're the conquistadors and they are the Incans.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
Although they're more powerful than you, but you still have smallpox. So at the end of the day, you can really get rid of them. Overall,
Gotcha.
I really enjoyed the game though. It was super fun. I highly recommend it. It's on Abandonware. You can play it fairly easily. It's a really fun game and good RTS. GTA 4 I finished, finally. I've done it. I finished the GTA 4.
Congratulations.
In hindsight, it's not that good. At the time, I remember it being very good, but
Okay, but wait a minute. You need to shut the fuck up, because the audience needs to know that when you say at the time, it's because you never played the story at the time. You just dicked around in the game.
Yeah, and
you're not talking about the story
at
the time. Because I would say, I could totally see in retrospect it doesn't hold up that great, but at the time, that single player was awesome. The story choices, the having to choose between which person, like turning down dates and setting up social activities.
Yeah.
Story was great at the time.
No, story's still great. It's a neat story. It's very like, am I doing the right thing? Like, I don't know what to do, and all this stuff going wrong for these people who just wanted to like come to America and get the American dream. But and he's like haunted by the war he was in and all that. But the like everything this game does in the open world was revolutionary-ish at the time. Like oh, you can take the subway, you can take a cab to this place, you can go get food, you can go out on dates, you can go hang out with your friends at locations, you can drive around between these different islands, you have to pay a toll when you cross the bridge, and like all this stuff. In 2025, it is just the most annoying thing ever that you can't fast travel anything. I basically, every time I was needed to go somewhere, you can just run up to a cab, hold Y to get in, and take the cab somewhere. So
that's your fast travel, basically.
That's your fast travel. And I didn't realize that at first. I kept calling Roman's cab because he gives it to you for free. And then I realized, oh, you can just get in any cab. You can rip the passenger out and just get in a cab and take it anywhere. And money's not, it's like $30 for the cab, and money, you have so much money. Because that's the other thing, there's nothing to spend money on in this game. It's not like GTA 5, especially with online when you can buy stuff, but even in the single player, in GTA 5, like, you can buy like nice cars and things like that. But here there's none of that. But
basically
overall,
just like guns and ammo, right? That's it.
Yeah, that is totally it. And some clothes, but even the clothes options aren't crazy.
Yeah, they're kind of dumb.
At the end of the day, though, it does a lot of cool things, like when the one unfortunate thing about replaying missions is if you die at any point in the mission just starts over. It doesn't matter how long that mission was. It doesn't matter if you had to drive to a location. You're back at the start location where you then have to drive to the location again. It's the worst. And it's weird because they realized this, and I know they realized this because when you replay missions, the first time you get dialogue, like on your way to the mission. The second time, you get a different dialogue because they're like, oh, you died, you're replaying the mission, you shouldn't have to make. The third time and on, the character's like, I just want to listen to the radio. So you don't have to listen to them again, which is excellent forethought. Like, yeah, people don't want to hear the same conversation. But also, you've realized people are going to be replaying these missions from dying. Just checkpoint them. Just, why'd you do the extra work to record secondary dialogue? Just checkpoint them at the next checkpoint. So that was annoying. And then the only other...
you bring up a really good point, which is that you talked about all these things that they've added to the game to do, but none of them really matter, and they're all pretty thin. Like, oh, you can do bowling and stuff. You can ride the subway. Yeah. That's something that's kind of the Rockstar MO, especially coming off of Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's like, yeah, you can hunt. And it's like, yeah, you can fish. Yeah. And it just has all this stuff. They always do that in Rockstar games where they're more about peanut butter, where they're just like, hey, we're going to add all this shit and it's going to be just good enough that maybe somebody would get hooked by it. But at the end of the day, you could just do the core game, and none of that other stuff is really compelling or important.
Before we go to for Jake's question, I just want to say, Rockstar is. I disagree only in the sense of, like, in 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 and even Red Dead Redemption 1, like, there's more to those things. To like hunting to unlock and build things, or hunting to do this, or fishing to fill out a list of things. Like in GTA 5 in GTA 4 there's none of that. But I will also say
that's true.
In GTA 4 those things in an open world game were fairly new, so you would at the time you would be like, oh, I am gonna go after this mission, go out with Roman, and even though there were memes about those getting annoying, you were still like, oh, maybe I will take the train, or I'll go bowling, or I'll go shopping, because it was games. Not all the games had that at that time. That you were that.
I do think you're giving too much credit to 4, because think about San Andreas, think about 3. It was always about, like, San Andreas was like, oh, you have to maintain your body, so you can do weightlifting, you can go to fast food to buy fast food. So every time Rockstar makes a game, it's literally just like, hey, what extra fucking largely unnecessary mechanics and side stuff can we shove into this?
No, so, I don't disagree with that. I think it works for me. It just doesn't work for you. I wouldn't say everyone thinks they're useless.
No, that's not my complaint. It's just that GTA 4, yes, introduced those specific things by adding more on top, like, oh, there's a taxi system, there's a subway system, etc. But it fits within the continued pattern that Rockstar has always done pre-GTA 4, which is superfluous side stuff that on the face of it sounds exciting, but in reality is paper thin. So it's not, you're right in saying that GTA 4 is the first time they had those specific types of things you could do, but the idea of being able to do that in a game, those types of side activities is not new to Rockstar.
No, I wasn't. It was more of like, that's when open world games really started. Like, other people were like, okay, let's get in on because as much innovation as there was there, it was still as thin as you're saying. So it's like other games are like, okay, let's start making open world games and we can catch up with Rockstar since they haven't added as much.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess there was kind of that Breath of the Wild lag where, GTA 4 came out and then Skyrim came out shortly after that. It's one of those things where it's like the systems that were in GTA 4, that openness was also in San Andreas.
Yeah.
But games didn't catch up until later.
And like
until
Sleeping
several
Dogs
years later.
and like that explosion of open world, like Just Cause, Prototype, Infamous, those and things. Jake, you were going to say.
Yes, well, I was going to ask, having not played GTA 4 or the other game that I'm about to mention, Ian, you have a video on our channel about the Yakuza games. So what, in your mind, what does make like a good side activity? Because I know you mentioned a lot of them in, I can't remember if it was Zero or Kiwami that you reviewed for the channel.
It was Zero for Subpixel. It was Zero. Excuse me. There's two big things that stick out. Number one is talking about gameplay. There's like the depth of gameplay. Like one of the things I really got into was pocket racers, which are the little like, they're not on rails, but they sit in like a Hot Wheels type track and they have guides left and right and you're controlling their speed. And you can go to a place in Yakuza 0 and start racing those. And they have a whole tournament bracket. And they have all these different parts you need to get for it. And you're controlling it and you're learning how to do it properly. Like, so it's not, it is like, oh, hey, there's a little racing thing. But they've built it out. Like, there was one night where I sat down to play Yakuza 0 and I ended up spending 3 hours just in that little thing. And I didn't beat the whole thing. I only got like halfway through the tournament section, And they have the exact same thing with, the mahjong parlors, which have tournaments in different difficulty levels, the batting cages, which has different targets in many games. So part of it is mechanical depth. The other part of it is story content, right? So there's a lot of like side quests in Yakuza 0 that have really good side quests and stories. Talking about the batting cage just as one example. No, actually, I don't think it's the batting cage. I think it's the bowling. I think in the bowling, if you hit a certain target, they gift you a turkey. And then that turkey then becomes one
like
of your selectable.
Turkey?
Yes, a live turkey. And it becomes one of your selectable employees for your real estate business, which is one of your front businesses, which I just remembered about, which is a whole nother side mechanic where you can go around and purchase businesses, and then you have to purchase people to staff those businesses, and you're trying to match the stats and have them go properly. And now that I think about it, that's just the Kazuma Kiryu side of it. There's also the whole fucking hostess side on Majima's side. So you see what I mean? Like it's like they start to loop in together into the story and they support each other. And there's also enough depth in most of those little side mechanics in games that you can sit down and just do it for 3 hours.
Sure.
Where in GTA, it's like, yeah, I want to bowl a perfect game, but I don't think you get fucking anything for it, right? Like there's not progression within the game and mechanic itself. So that's why Yakuza 0. I'm not shitting on GTA 4. It's still fantastic for the time, but fuck, man. I've done this already for Red Dead Redemption 2. I need to do it for Yakuza 0. I need to come up with a date in my head, probably 10 years from now, and I need to put it on the calendar, and it says time to replay Yakuza 0 because it's been long enough and you've forgotten most of it. And fuck, that game is so fucking good. Hey, when that year comes up, I'm going to be fucking scratching eyeballs and shivving people because that needs to be game of the year, whatever year that came out. I don't even know what the competition is.
Okay.
Sorry.
Weird. One final thing on GTA 4 is the final mission on all versions of this game, I guess, other than the 360 version. There is a glitch with the final mission that you can't.
Wow.
You're supposed to spam X to get into the helicopter, or spam A, and it is so difficult that you like can't do it. And the advice for getting past it is to like place your controller down and brace yourself and like rub your finger as fast as possible.
Do like the ruler technique, you know, and you're doing
And so
all that.
I managed to do it, not debasing myself like that. I managed to just tap it fast enough, but holy crap. And that was another thing where the final mission that I chose, you're riding a dirt bike next to the water, and as we all know, GTA 4's driving is impeccable and perfect. So the first time I drove into the water, and of course ends the mission, have to redo an entire thing. The second time I don't get to the ramp fast enough and the helicopter flies by, and so I have to redo the mission. The third time I think I hit the drink again, and then the fourth time I fell because I didn't know about the spamming X thing. So fifth time's the charms, folks, and I beat the fucking game, and it was good. It was fun. It was a good time, and I'm glad I played it, and I can finally never go back to it again because I don't want to.
Great job.
At all. And then I'm gonna skip those. And then Warhammer 40k Space Marine I played this past week. It took me 5 hours to get through the entire game. I booted it up because I was trying to finish.
That's short.
Yeah, it's really short.
That's short, right?
It's very short.
That's too short.
I think this game was popular for its like horde mode and some multiplayer modes. I don't know if the campaign was the biggest part of the game. Excuse me. I don't know. This game has a lot of cool things, which is it's huge. Like you are a space marine, but all the environments are huge, and you can like see stuff really far away. They do a lot of wieners, is the technical term, where like you see the end of the level at the beginning of the level, like over the horizon. And
is that really the technical term?
I think it is it's the jokey technical term where like you start a level, you see the tower in the distance, and they call them wieners because they're sticking up, and you notice them, and you just gotta get to them.
That can't be true.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
I've heard what's the term?
Signposting.
Fuck. There's signposting, but there's also like I don't know if they ever come up with a term with it, but after Breath of the Wild came out, they did GDC and they talked about how they wanted like the Disney World aesthetic of like anywhere you're standing, you can see 3 different points for other areas that you draw you towards them.
But yeah, it's basically like you can see the entirety of the level as you're playing the level, which is fun, and I like that. But so much, and I don't know if this is the remaster I played or what, which just came out and is on Game Pass, but so much of it felt empty. Like I was running through areas that were just huge, and I was just walking through them, and there were 0 enemies or anything happening. And I was like, is something supposed to trigger right now? Like, am I supposed to be fighting something here? And then I would get to the next like section, and there'd be a fight or something. But it felt like either I need to go watch like gameplay of people playing it on YouTube or something to see if something was wrong. And then I think,
sorry, I played the first 2 missions on Game Pass, and I also had a similar feeling. I think though, like compared especially to Space Marine 2, there's just a lot less happening, and I'm sure that was a restriction of the engine at the time.
But even I mean, you think they might dial it up for a remaster, since they have a little more hardware to work with. But overall, it was a fun time. It felt way too short, but the characters were cool. The design of everything's cool. Of course, it's Warhammer 40k, so it's like this convoluted thing that you're trying to understand what's happening, and there's chaos, and there's inquisitors, and all this stuff. And it ends on like a sour note for like some of the characters, which is neat.
That's 40k.
That's also 40k. But it was fun. The combat sucks and everything's bad about it, but I give it a 6. It's if you have Game Pass and you have nothing else to do for 5 hours, go play it. You'll get really annoyed all the time because you keep dying, because when you're locked in the animation to get more health, you lose health because things can still attack you. It's like, why is that?
Yeah,
stupid. And you're slow. You're really slow in it. It's annoying. Finally, Gears of War Reloaded. I've been playing more of this. It's a good remaster. It just feels a little broken right now, and
is it broken?
I'm like 4 or 5 more missions, or I don't know, like 2 more acts further than we were on Tuesday. They're just, I crouched next to a thing and was flinged across the screen a couple times. There are enemies coming in late or like spawning in randomly. It just feels like the classic, they remastered this game and introduced more bugs than like through, which is what I kept reading about Space Marine when I was looking up reviews of it after. It just seems a little janky right now. But I'm still, it's fun to be playing Gears of War again. But at this point I was like, I should load up Ultimate and see if that's any better, and just not 4K whatever. Jake, you ever play Gears of War?
I played I think maybe an hour or 2 of Gears of War back when I did my Skybox video, because I wanted to get a Skybox from it. I didn't know what Skybox, so I was just kind of going through and getting B-roll as I went. It was fine. Yeah,
it's okay. I texted my friend. I was like, hey, because we had beaten Insane Gears of War before. I was like, oh, we should do it again. And he was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then I was like, oh, actually, have we ever done 2? And he said no. So I was like, oh, maybe I should play Gears of War 2 after this. But
so just real quick, I read the Wikipedia article for this, and it's actually very helpful for our remaster, remake, reboot conversation. So
rebuild
Gears of War Ultimate Edition is quote based on the original game's source code. So that makes it a remaster because it's running original code, but it has graphics, etc. on top of it. Reloaded is a port of Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
So it's still the same code underneath, but they've just put graphical polish on it. So I don't think going back to Ultimate Edition is going to be any difference other than you're going to lose some of the graphical fidelity options. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but I mean, something could be up with the port and not doing stuff properly on the back end.
I don't know, because some of the issues you talked about sound like they don't sound like port problems. But what they're saying is Ultimate Edition and Reloaded are the exact same code underneath. They literally just added some upscaling options like HDR and 4K and things like that. So the problems you were talking about could have been introduced in Ultimate Edition, but they would not have been introduced in Reloaded because they're not graphical issues. They're underlying, this enemy has a problem, there's a collision issue, etc.
Yeah, but if
that's not new in Reloaded.
If they added source code patches to Ultimate, like in order to make
that's true.
Reloaded, like it's the thing I kept reading about the Warhammer 40K Space Marine one, which is the exact same type of remaster where they're using the original source code.
Yeah.
And people were like, they introduced a bunch of new bugs while not fixing the original bugs from the original game. So it's like
that's a really
this stuff on top of it. It's funny you mentioned that because
in the Warhammer universe.
What'd you say about Xenos?
You said bugs, and I said they call them Xenos.
Oh, sorry, Xenos. I did look this up, Ian, because
but just real quick though, I just looked it up just to say like I don't think you need to go back to the Ultimate Edition. I think Reloaded is basically the Ultimate Edition, so I don't think it's worth going back.
I was just curious. Because even one of there's the mission where you're in the car and shooting the lights at the krill, like that felt off. So I wanted to go see if they had done something between that. But I had looked up that remaster thing because I was also curious after our debate on Tuesday, because I looked up like the Dead Space remake is not a remaster because they rebuilt the game from the ground up in a different, or actually I think in the newer version of the same engine. And then
so that's a remake.
I didn't get to look up Oblivion. I meant to see if that was running the same.
No, we looked up that was a remaster. It's got some crazy code where it's running the original code, but then the graphics get passed to Unreal Engine 5.
And then Delta as well. Metal Gear Solid Delta is a remake because it's built up on a new engine. Up. And that's what I was thinking of, which I still agree with you. I think it's closer to a reimagining, but if someone rebuilt Gears of War 1 from the ground up,
but critically same pretty much the same story, same mission structure,
like
etc.
exactly
That's a
the
remake,
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I would check that out because of the issues of like slowing down, going really slow. Also, in a lot of the scenes, you can add so much texture you want to make things look better, but when you go up to a door that has a piece of wood across from it and that wood is flat because there's no polygons there, that's when I'm like, okay, this would benefit from a remake because you're making new models and making things look like this looks really great, but it looks terrible because it looks like Wile E. Coyote painted this door on the side of the wall. So
I just think at that point, like Reloaded and Ultimate, they still feel good enough, right?
Right.
Those gameplay mechanics are not aged that much. So to do a ground up remake just to have it look a little bit better, that to me doesn't make sense. Whereas like a reboot, Final Fantasy VII remake, wrong term for them. They did a full fucking reboot, reimagining and adding a whole bunch of extra shit and stuff. That I think that would be better for Gears of War. And that's kind of what they're doing with E-Day, where they're basically going back to the same period and that same linear style, but you know.
Oh, and also Gears of War was 14 years after E-Day. Which is why they're going back. Well,
fucking why?
Well, because it's more interesting. Because you're like, what? I mean, the
I'm
story
saying,
of Gears of War 1 is
it's the first game. It's the first game of the series, and they're like, "Hey, this really cool fucking thing happened 14 years ago." It's like, no, just start with the cool
why did
fucking.
Lord of the
That's a
Rings?
pet peeve.
Why did Lord of the Rings start in the Third Age? I mean, they had the First and Second Age right there when they would have.
But
been
it starts
way
at the
better.
beginning of that story, though. It starts at the beginning of.
But this is the beginning of this
journey,
story,
right?
And also the
No,
rest of the game explains
it's not
it.
because they keep referencing. Oh, you're Marcus. You're the hero from
just
that day.
because you don't
Fuck
like
you.
the story trope doesn't mean it's a good story trope.
Hey. It kind of does, though.
That's not true.
It's definitely a pet peeve. Hey, Jake's seen Superman. Superman has the same fucking problem, which they have an opening text that just skips what would have been a great opening, and instead they're just
Superman?
like, yeah, the new Superman. They're just like, hey, all this really cool shit just happened, and we're just gonna skip over it. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, but if they included it all, you would have said the movie was too long.
No, I don't think so. They probably could have done that in like 5 minutes.
I think the difference between Superman and Marcus Phoenix is Superman exists with 100 years of previously existing material, and Marcus Phoenix was a totally new thing, which would have been better served by seeing an
but
origin
also
story.
the Gears of War, it starts in media res. Excuse me, and the game also explains everything that happened as you're going through the game. So
yeah, I think my problem is just that it's not very well done. I have no problem with in media res. I just think their use of in media res, where it's like, oh, E-Day happened. Also, this guy's a hero from then. Also, he's in jail right now, and it's not clear why.
Halo
it's
had
like,
to go
it's
back
too much
and
in
tell,
media res.
Had to tell.
It's too much in media res.
Had to tell the Fall Reach. So,
anyways, this is very petty of me. I fully admit it.
He was there.
It's
not in the game. You don't play as Chief in.
I know,
Reach,
but he escapes
in the TV show.
No, he escapes in
Halo's good in media res though. It is a good in media res.
I'm done with
this. You wake up in the tube. The ship's under attack, and they're just like, buddy, we gotta get you. We gotta get you fucking
and
going.
Marcus Phoenix gets out from 4 years of jail. So there. Fuck you.
Yeah, not clear.
It's a jailbreak.
Also, he's a hero from 14 years ago. I just think it's it's just we talked about this, how Gears of War Reloaded. I don't think it's doing. I think it's a good game. It's doing a lot right. It's just there's enough pet peeves for me there to not enjoy it. But if you're a Gears of War fan, you've ever wanted to try it, Reloaded is now the best way to play it, for sure.
They needed a reason to put it out on PlayStation 5, which is why they did this in the first place. So
yeah, which is so funny because they didn't really need to, because Microsoft is already fucking eaten up the PlayStation charts. It's wild. Microsoft this year is the #1 performing publisher on the PlayStation platform. Fucking wild. Hey, maybe that strategy's playing off, honestly. It's like, we build hardware, we sell it. We build software, we sell it. You build hardware, well, we're going to sell software for your hardware and make money off of it more than you do. Fucking wild what's happening.
Crazy stuff. Okay. Jake Terrio.
Hmm?
What have you been playing?
Well, speaking perhaps of the inverse of a PlayStation game that then I played on the Xbox, I finally played Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding from
Oh yeah, brother.
2019. Um, and yeah, great game. Not nearly as weird as the trailers made it out to be. Back in that multi-year lead up to Death Stranding, where every new 9-minute long trailer was just like, what the heck is going on? What is happening inside
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima's brain to make this? And then once you play the game, you're like, oh no, I get it. I understand the sequence of events and the
Yeah.
motivations and the everything.
She's not that fragile.
Yeah, I didn't like with a great many Leah Sado performances. I didn't really buy it. Thought she was definitely the weakest link. But the game is great, and I know I put in like the Discord chat or whatever. I'm like, all right, I wrapped up everything. I think I'm done with it. That wasn't true because there's
Oh,
a
God.
certain I don't know, like a zen factor to completing deliveries after like in the end game
Mhm.
where now I'm just like every once in a while I'll just boot up Death Stranding. I'll do like a couple premium deliveries because I still have
Hell
a
yeah.
bunch of them that I never did, and just doing my thing. And I like that Hideo Kojima's taking the stance that USPS drivers are braver than the troops.
It's
So
true.
I'm excited to
Man.
play the second one. I don't
Oh,
know
Yeah,
if
you're gonna
I'll
love the
buy a
shit out of it.
Oh,
PS5,
so excited.
especially with the tariffs. I'm hoping that it just comes to play PC or Xbox within the next year.
Oh, actually, it should.
Yeah,
It should,
I'm
because that's what
guessing it
happened
will.
with the first one. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna love the shit out of two. I finished two. Two is just better than the first one in every single way. And then I was thinking about going back and playing some more of two, but honestly, I put it on the shelf as my like 4 a.m. extra life game, where it's like I just need to burn a couple hours, and I know that I will be able to hop in there and be like, oh, let me go clear this base camp again. Oh, there's this order. Oh, I never finished that zipline network.
Mhm.
Just so good. Such a great series.
Oh, Disc Training. Very good.
Yeah, I don't know why I had it. I bought it on PS4. I think around the time that it came out, and then I played a couple hours of it, and then pressed pause for some reason, and I never went back to it. But yeah, I was thrilled. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally, because it is important to finish that first game before you play the second game, because it definitely builds on it a lot. I mean, mechanically, but you could just hop into two mechanically, but you can't hop into two story wise. You gotta experience that first game.
Yeah, I liked it. And then I did finally play a much anticipated title for myself, which was Islanders 2, sequel to Islanders. And it's good. It's definitely different. My biggest issue is simply, well, no, I have two issues with it. It's basically the same game. It's got a couple of quality and life improvements. It's got like a bunch of new buildings that you can build throughout the whatevers. It's got some different types of islands. There's ones that will gradually rise up out of the ocean as you play, so that you'll like like, oh well, now I can build a thing here, or now I can build a thing there. But I don't like the art style, and I can't really describe why, apart from the fact that it seems like some of the buildings aren't scaled properly. Like some of them just feel too big compared to like the other buildings in the whole kind of pool of buildings that you can use. And that's like
Gotcha.
a really stupid thing to get hung up on, but it just doesn't feel like, I know I made that whole video for the channel about how original Flavor Islanders kind of because it had no story, it kind of prompted in your mind like a story as you're playing, like, oh, I'm building this
Yeah.
town and here's how it flows and here's how it works. And this one just doesn't quite have that. I think the other one of the other reasons is that the islands by and large all feel a lot smaller. There's just like less space, which means there's like occasionally an interesting challenge of like, okay, well, how do I build a city on this particular piece of land? But I feel like I'm restarting a lot more frequently. Or I was restarting a lot more frequently. I after I got past like 10 or 15 islands, they all started to get a little bit bigger. But then my other problem is that they add a bunch of new buildings. But unless this becomes a thing that I can unlock later than I am at right now, there's no type of island. Every time you move to a new island, you get a choice between two types of islands with an environment and like some sort of gimmick that for scorekeeping purposes. No single island allows you to build every kind of building. There will always be a few that are like case specific, I guess. And I just want all of them. I want all of them together so that I can make my little island. And I'm sure I can do that in Sandbox, but I think like we talked about when I first played Islanders, I require the scoring mechanic to get satisfaction from the game. I don't just want a sandbox for the sake of making a nice looking city. I need the little dopamine hit of the
like
number
getting
bigger.
Has like a free mode, and I'm like, this isn't great. And then in the like score mode, it's way more fun to like build out stuff. So wait, how is the visual style different? Like, is it drastically different from the first one, or is just something's off? You mean?
It's not drastically different. It's it's like rounder, I guess.
Like more polished?
Everything's a little bit not
or
really,
cleaner?
and it could be maybe because I'm playing it on Switch, but I have both Islanders and Islanders 2 on Switch, and I feel like Islanders 2 looks worse because they made the models like more intricate and more detailed. But I feel like the minimal aesthetic, given the Switch's hardware and kind of the like really kind of like the zoomed out, it just all feels kind of muddy. But like some of the stuff, some of the changes I do like there's like kites that you can flags that you can add, and one of them is like a big floaty like fabric whale shark that's cute. But yeah, it's just it doesn't feel quite so precise, maybe is the word I'm looking for. But I'm also not like an artist or an art director. I just know that it doesn't feel as
cohesive.
Ooh, yes. Yeah,
that was
it
cohesive.
is. It doesn't feel as cohesive to me personally.
Final question for you. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. Final question, favorite new building?
Probably the harbor. They added harbors and docks that could play kind of nicely with the like the floating platforms, where you can build. You can. Yeah, it's just cool. I took a screenshot of a city that I thought looked kind of good. I'll put it in the chat when we're done.
Perfect. Oh, that is what Jake's been playing, a little bit of Death Stranding 2, or a wrap-up of Death Stranding 2, or Death Stranding 1. Jesus Christ. And then this is Islanders New Shores, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I Googled Islanders 2 and nothing came up, so I assume it is Islanders New Shores. Looks like they're muddy shores, if you ask.
Yeah. I do also, I know the developer is different, but I don't know if that's like because they rebranded or if whoever owned the rights just gave it to someone else. But
wow. The shores in the logo reminds me of something. It's like Astroneer or something, which is weird.
Oh, I don't like the font of New Shores. The Islanders, the original Islanders logo is great.
No Man's Sky almost.
New Shores, I don't like the font.
Yeah, it's bad. Speaking of bad, Ian Gibson, the resident subpixel bad boy, he's here and he's ready to stab you in the gut and eat your insides.
Hey, let me tell you about my trains, guys. Woo! So it's been a couple weeks. I've now doubled my hour count in OpenTTD from 40 to 80 hours.
Jesus
this is Open
Christ.
Transport Tycoon Deluxe. It's just so good. You know, I hop in and I don't want to say I've been giving myself little challenges, but there's like, I did a Europe map. My latest map has been a Japan map. So somebody made like a giant map of Japan with like accurate city names and placements. And so part of it is like, there's always a better train network, right? There's always a way to make it more efficient, more logical. So I've been working on my train networks and putting those together. And this map also came with a bunch of mods. So it's period accurate Japanese trains. So like the game has like generic like steam, diesel, electric, maglev trains. Like those are like the built-in generic train levels. And there's like different trains underneath each of those, but it's like, oh, upgrade your network, you know, to electric or maglev. But somebody built this entire fucking Japanese, so I'm adding like period accurate Japanese metro, like narrow gauge urban electric lines, and I built a Shinkansen, which is the Japanese bullet train, but literally the Shinkansen, and it's the Shinkansen, and it has specific line and it has its own train set up, and it's so fucking good, and it's cool to just do that. And I'm getting really good at the game. I've actually started playing multiplayer in the game. This is kind of interesting how this works. So there's multiplayer servers. The more popular ones are hosted by the OpenTTD subreddit, and basically the way it works is that these servers are online for anywhere between 24 to 48 hours, and it's just a giant map with a bunch of cities and industries. And you hop in and you create your own company, and then you're just playing the game. But it's kind of it's not cooperative, but it's also not really competitive. Sometimes it is, but basically, like, you know, if somebody has a bus line in a city, you could also add a bus line in that city, you know, or if they're connecting to a forest, you can also connect to the forest, and now you're splitting the wood coming out of the forest. So you're trying to like map these trains and networks around what they have and carve out enough of your own to make enough money to grow your own company. But the game is running at normal speed. I usually fast forward a lot when I'm playing single player. Like, I'll set up a new network. I'll be like, oh, I just spent a lot of money. Let me fast forward 2-3 years. Okay, I know my profits are good, so I'm building back up enough cash nest egg to do my next big expansion. You know, you can't do that in the multiplayer, but it's running 24/7. So I'll leave for like 6 hours, and I'll come back and I'll log into the server, and my company has a bunch of money, but I can also see what other people are doing, and I can look at their companies and their rail lines and be like, oh, they set up their stations and their signal blocks differently. So it's just a lot of fun.
So
yes, question from the
I'm just saying
gallery.
That means I need to boot up an OpenTTD server on my multiplayer server, and we can just
log
in whenever we want.
I was thinking about doing that too. I was like, it's probably pretty easy to set one up, because that's the problem is most of these servers are popular, and so they only last 24 to 48 hours, because within that time frame, a lot of people build companies and the map gets full.
Oh, true.
And it gets too crowded. So if you had like a server with just you and friends, you could have that going for fucking months, you know, at just like, you know, slow speed.
I wonder if you could set up a camera of it. Like, you could just stream.
Oh, like
stream.
Yeah.
You totally could. Character of it. Oh, that'd be cool.
And get all the API stats out, like each company and their profit.
Man,
average,
we just build
efficiency rating.
Yeah,
I know, right?
This.
Like, now you're getting it. This game's great because it's relatively easy to get into. It has a low skill floor where you can get in and understand the basic concept, because whether you're placing down trains, buses, ships, or planes, it's all the same basic mechanic in terms of like, you add a depot, you add a stop, you use the depot to create a vehicle, you say go to this stop, that's it, boom. And it's the same for all of them. But then when you start getting into it and you're like, oh, I gotta, you know, oh, this junction is too slow, so I need to redesign it with a tunnel, but I need to make sure the signal block is long enough so it doesn't, you know, when it backs up, if it backs up, it doesn't back up into the junction and cause this other line to get slow. And it's so good. It continues to be a fantastic game. It may be one of the greatest free games of all time because of just, it's $0. It's so good. It's been around like 30 years. I don't think it's actually 30 years. Actually, it's close to 30 years old, and there's still so many people playing it and putting mods in. So it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it.
I should try
the other game. Yes, question from Jake.
Sorry. I was just Waffle's angry. Can you hear him?
Not really.
Okay, good. I was just rewatching the trailer for Islanders 2 on the internet. Not to jump back to this.
On the internet,
Don't buy
yes.
it on Switch. Don't buy it on the Switch. Buy it on the
Oh, is it bad?
Xbox or the PC. Well, no, I was just looking at the trailer, and the visual fidelity is way cleaner, and like I was like, oh, this game actually looks good. It looks like garbage on the Switch. So
Oh,
yeah, don't
that's
do it.
interesting. That's a good PSA.
Mhm.
The other game I've been playing, this came out earlier this year and got a lot of buzz for people saying, hey, don't sleep on this. It's a great game. It's called Promise Mascot Agency. Have you guys heard about this game or seen this game?
No.
So this game is you basically play, it's a very like stylized, anime stylized. It starts with some story heavy beats. You're basically a yakuza who makes a mistake, and his specific clan is really low on money, and so as punishment you are sent to this town where you have to take over a mascot agency. And this is where things get a little bit anime. In this version of Japan, it's just like normal Japan, but mascots are real people. So if you think about like in this world, Ronald McDonald is a real person, right? But
Wait, how's that different?
but the thing is,
Are you telling me he's not?
Next you're gonna tell me Santa's not real.
He's not, but Grimace is. Grimace is a real person.
Oh, okay.
He's in the White
I got
House.
it.
Yeah. So basically,
What
they
about
have
Colonel
these.
Sanders?
He's
I don't
definitely
know.
not
So
real.
it's this. So mascots are real, but the thing is, they some of them are more popular and more useful than others. And so the whole premise of a mascot agency is that you have like a roster of mascots that you hire out to businesses. So you'd be like, oh, the bookstore wants to drum up more traffic, so they posted a job that says they need a mascot. You know, they want they want a smart mascot, so I have a mascot with smart skills or whatever, and I'm going to assign that mascot. And then if the mascot's doing the job, they will typically get into trouble because, you know, these are like shitty mascots in some backwater Japanese town, and the mascot's like, oh no, I knocked over a bunch of boxes. And so then it becomes like you get called in the middle of the job and they're like, hey, do you want to help out this mascot? And then it becomes like a little battle fight scene where it's literally like mascot versus boxes, you know, and the boxes have a health bar. And there's this really little card game mechanic where you can assign heroes. You have heroes, which are basically helper people that you meet around the town, where you're like, hey, you're a farmer, I'll help you out if you help out my mascots when they need help. And they come in as cards that you can play as cards to help out your mascots during this weird little mini game. I would say the bulk of the game, though, is you're in a K truck and you're driving around this small town collecting stuff and meeting people. So there's a whole bunch of collectibles you can hit. You know, you can meet, like I said, the farmer, and the farmer's like, hey, I'm missing some vegetables. You know, you get the vegetables, and then they're like, okay, great, I'll be a hero on your roster. And then the whole time you're driving around, you know, jobs will pop up, and you'll like open up your maintenance app and be like, okay, send this mascot to that job, this mascot to that job. I'm going to level up this mascot and do stuff. So it's got a lot of different mechanics going on. They're all pretty cool and fun. It's definitely got like it's weird. I don't know if it's actually a Japanese made game, but it's the type of game where it's like, hey, this is very forward with parts of Japanese culture, but it's presented in a way that is not is very friendly. It's not, you know, it's like the thing about Persona. I don't know if you guys have played any Persona games. I mean, you played Metaphor. A heavy Japanese game is like, this is anime as fuck, and you're gonna sit through this 8-hour tutorial because fuck you, and that's why. That's what I view as a Japanese ass game. This is not a Japanese ass game, right? Within like 5 minutes you're in it. There's a lot of stuff to do, so it almost feels like, I don't want to say it's a much international, much friendlier mainstream gameplay and mechanics, but with that Japanese ass game appeal to it, with the stories and the characters and everything. So it's pretty fun. I've played a couple hours of it. You know, I think I have to mirror you, Jake. I bought it on Switch, and I don't know if it's just the Switch version or something, but driving around does not feel good. Graphics don't look that good. I don't even know if it's running at 1080p, and it's running at like 30 FPS driving around. So I would not buy it on the Switch if you have ability to buy it elsewhere. And it doesn't have a Switch 2 version because Nintendo's being a bunch of fuckheads with their dev kits and not letting developers put out Switch 2 ports, which is fucking wild. So yeah, that's Promise Mascot Agent. Any of that appealing to you guys at all?
When you were describing it, like initially, I was like, "Oh, it's like a baseball manager like simulator type thing." And then I pulled up the trailer as you were talking, and I'm like, "Wait, there's driving. There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot in it. Yeah.
It sounds neat."
This looks like fun.
Yeah.
Watching the trailer as well.
Yeah. If it appeals to you, it's definitely worth picking up because there are people who love it a lot more than I do. And that's why I got a lot of buzz for Game of the Year consideration, or, you know, like one of the best games of the year. So, you know, if it appeals to you, definitely pick it up.
You gonna finish it?
Speaking of Game of the Year, no, probably not. It doesn't run well. So, and honestly, I don't like the driving around that much. There's nothing wrong with the driving. It's just doesn't feel that great to me. So I played it for like 2-3 hours and I was like, okay, I think I'm good. You know?
Okay.
I was like, I know what the loop is now. I understand it, but the loop hasn't grabbed me. But speaking of Game of the Year, I do have a game to add to the Game of the Year consideration list. Tower Dominion. Jake, fucking fortuitous as shit. You didn't like in Islanders 2. You posted in the Discord, you're like, I want to play more Islanders, but I don't want to play Islanders 2. Like, are there any other games like this? And I jokingly said OpenTTD. But honestly, Tower Dominion is the game you should play because it reminds me of Islanders. And here's why. This comes to me from Mike Mahardy from the Fire Escape cast. He started describing this. It's a tower defense game. It's a roguelike tower defense game.
I'm looking at it.
And the way that it basically works is that you have essential headquarters, and in at the basic difficulty level, and you have a commander, and the commander gives you some perks, you know, like this is 10% off, there's extra guys here or whatever. And then normal difficulty level, there's 25 rounds, 25 waves. So before a wave, they say, hey, place a tile on the map, and the tile is basically a configuration of a pathway leading into your headquarters, like almost like Carcassonne. So you're like building out the map as you go, wave by wave. The wave starts, you start the wave. At that point, it's like an auto battler. You know, the enemies come down the paths and they get killed by your defenses. And then you get reinforcements, which is where the roguelike pops in, where it's like, hey, here's a selection of like, they give you 3 options, and each option has 2 things in it. And so it could just be more supplies, which lets you build extra stuff. It could be a blueprint. So like, here's a blueprint for a turret. And because you pick that blueprint, now you have the ability to, you know, buy and place that turret. But it's one at a time. So it's like a one-time use blueprint. Or doctrines. Doctrines are things like, hey, this type of building is 10% cheaper, you know, or, you know, all buildings next to the headquarters do 5% more damage. You know, these like modifier things. It's very good. And then you get to your reinforcement, which is basically they give you all the supplies. You have like, I think it starts at like 100. You get 100 supplies per round, but you
play. Okay, we're good to go.
Hell yeah. And you can ramp that up, and then you get supplies from killing enemies, and then that's when you actually look at your buildings and you go, okay, here's the blueprints that I have available. I'm going to place these buildings, and then each of the buildings and your headquarters, because I played the game for like 5 hours before I realized this, and your headquarters, if you click on the buildings and the headquarters after you place them, they have an upgrade path, which is typically a tree. There's 3 levels, and each level has 2 options. So like level 1, pick this or that. Level 2, pick this or that. So you're spending supplies and resources on that as well. So you can do things like one of them is a tower, right? And the tower is like, like the anti-aircraft gun. And the anti-aircraft gun is like, do you want to do more damage against all enemies? Or do you want to make it so that this turret always prioritizes and shoots at air targets first, even if there's a closer ground target, you know? And so you're like upgrading the buildings and all this stuff. And then where it's really like Islanders is that a lot of it's about placement too, because you have the paths, but then you have 4 levels of terrain. So, you know, if you put a tower on a level 3, then it gets +3 range so it can see farther. But then sometimes your commander or your abilities are like, hey, if you place this at the ground level at 0, then you get +20% damage. So you're like, and then you're like, oh, if I put this building next to this building and I do this mechanic, which says, you know, if you any sturdy bunkers you have next to you get 10+ damage. It's like, so you're just fucking placing buildings and setting all this shit up. I can't stop playing this game. It's very good because once you start fast forwarding the waves, because you kind of know how it's going to go, You can get through a round in about 20 to 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And they have a shitload of buildings. They have a lot of doctrines. They have a lot of different commanders. I think there's at least like 30 different commanders. And the commanders do things like, hey, you start with this building and this stuff is cheaper. It's just like the perfect type of roguelike where there's just all these different mechanics that work well together and
Mhm.
all the different modifiers you can get across them. Highly recommend. I've never been super into tower defense games because they always felt a little bit thin. You get a couple rounds in and you're like, okay, I get it. But this one just feels like a fucking sweet spot how they've put it together. I know I've got Jake hooked. Have I got you hooked, Will?
Yeah, I almost bought it. I'm trying to go through my backlog and play
You
games
piece
that
of
I already
shit.
own.
Fuck you. Yeah, shout out to the chat. Yes, we are talking about Tower Dominion. That's the name of the game that I've been spieling about. Tower Dominion. It's very good. Highly recommend
I'm
it.
very excited to play this because I have been chasing the high of, I don't even
Yeah.
remember the name of it, but some tower defense game, probably on like addictinggames.com circa
Tower balloons
2004.
or balloons?
No, I only remember like a desert aesthetic, but been chasing that high. I'm now like looking at my Steam library and I am realizing a couple of things here. I think definitely Islanders New Shores is developed by, it's not developed by Grizzly Games, which made the first Islanders. They did, I don't know if we had talked about it. I'm sure I talked about it on local chat at some point, but Thronefall, which was a pseudo tower defense type game
Yeah.
that released in a couple of years ago that I did enjoy, but it's not like a traditional tower defense. It's got like a commander that you can move around, and there's just a bit more going on under the hood that felt more to me like an RTS than like a tower defense. So it didn't really scratch that itch for me. So I'm excited to play Tower Dominion.
It's great.
I have
It's
a
awesome.
really good tower defense game I would recommend, but you cannot buy it anymore because it's got taken off Steam, and I bought it before it was taken off Steam. Is Soul Survivor, which is looks like, I think it's a mid 2000s tower defense game, and you like have these points that you defend, and then you're just dropping like all these like mortars and gun turrets and all this stuff down to fight off the enemy, and that's pretty fun. But I think I did see it's up on Abandonware now, so if you want to play it, you can go download it there. But yeah, Soul Survivor was a genuinely pretty fun game.
SOLE or SOUL?
SOL. Yeah, it's takes place in space. It's a space game.
Just
Soul of the
SOL.
Stars.
SOL,
Yeah, I get it,
and then
okay,
Survivor.
okay.
It's S period O period
Yeah,
L colon SOL.
it's Teal'c, actually.
Hey, I knew Sid Meier's Pirates exclamation point. So
I meant to say this to you. So there's I forgot I had first learned of Rise of Legends from Sethzine Tech, who's a YouTuber who does reviews.
Yep.
And I went back and watched the video again after I'd beat the game, which, first of all, he talked about strategies I didn't even know were in the game, which is really annoying. But he also made the comparison, the Quaddle have these staffs that shoot lasers out of them. And I realized it's exactly like the fucking Goa'uld guys.
The staff weapon.
Yeah, the staff weapons. And they're basically, that's what I should have explained it that way. That's what the Quaddle are. Basically, but not Egyptian-based, Aztec, Incan-based.
did that Stargate
No.
team shooter ever come out?
Oh, are you talking about the RTS
Roblox one?
I think the RTS did come out.
No, I thought it was like a co-op, like an Aliens Dark Descent
Oh,
or
like
whatever.
a fire team.
Yeah, Fireteam Elite, that's the one.
Stargate Timekeepers is an RTS game that came out last year, January. Has mixed reviews.
Wait, how
I
does
don't know what I'm thinking
Stargate
of.
have a RTS? Oh yeah,
It just went under the radar, but yeah, it came out January of last year.
What are the factions? Just the Tauri? Or no, there's the you could be the Tauri or the Goa'uld.
No, but you could be the Asgard,
Asgard.
Or the Asgard, or you could be
or the
the
Replicators.
humanity.
What's the
Or the
what's
Wraith
the
from Atlantis.
what's the friendly Goa'uld? Ah, fuck.
Are they called something different? I can't remember.
Yeah. Their faction is called something different because the Tower
Jason
are the
Momoa.
Earth people.
Oh, and then the ones from season 10, the Ori.
Yes. Yeah, you totally could do one. Hey, can I just a slight tangent? We don't have to dive into it, but Jeff Bezos and Amazon and MGM, they own the rights to Stargate now.
Yes, they do.
And I've been watching Rings of Power recently, and they spent like hundreds of millions of dollars making those 2 seasons
Billions,
of
I
TV.
think.
It could be. Spend that money on Stargate. Like, could you fucking imagine? They would never make the money back. But yeah, if you're throwing that much money at TV shows, hell yeah, you've got the license.
The first season of Rings of Power had a reported $1 billion budget.
I mean, I could see it. It is gorgeous. But fuck, spend that money on Stargate. You have the IP, and there are still Stargate conventions happening around the world several times a year. Even
I
though
always forget to dial in.
Series. Moving on. Next up, we've got our discussion topic.
You're not the host. We move on when I say we move on.
This year, we started doing this last episode 3 weeks ago. Will, you know how to describe it, right?
Yeah, I was preparing. This is our retroactive game of the year from the year 2000 to the year current 2025. Although we're just gonna skip 2025 because we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's the first quarter of the century.
First quarter of the
2000
century.
through 2024.
And this year I have rolled 2009, and I did a little bit of research, folks. Do you remember Sully Sullenberg landing that plane?
Oh, was that this year?
Was that
2009,
That's
guys.
so long ago.
And guess who was in the Oval Office? Obama.
In 2009? Oh,
He got sworn
It's not like, is
in.
this a trick?
No, it was both of them. It was both. It was Bush and Obama. Because the inauguration wasn't until January 20th or whatever.
Oh, sorry. For 20 days, George W. Bush was still the president in 2009.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We also had An Inconvenient Truth came out. We all remember where we were when that came out. 8 years past 9/11. We all remember where we were.
No, that was not 2009. That was not 2009. That was 2008 or 2007.
I scrolled past it really quickly, but it did say An Inconvenient Truth.
2000,
It might have been an Emmy or something. Parks and Rec debuted.
release.
Community debuted. Pretty
shows.
cool. Pretty good. We lost. People died that year. And
True.
that's about it. That's all this page tells me. Jeffrey Epstein was alive still.
True.
In case you were
Correct.
wondering, we lost Michael Jackson, King of Pop.
Oh, I do remember that.
And
R.I.P.
and
Indiana
Bill Clinton met Kim Jong-il. I don't know why this is shouting that out, but that happened.
Why was he
apparently.
doing that?
I don't know.
For what purpose?
I don't remember that at all.
Big one here. Disney acquires Marvel. 2009.
2009? Yeah, I guess that was a year before Iron Man.
Yeah. That's big in retrospect, because at the time people were just
Iron Man
like,
08?
yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
Or it was a year after Iron Man?
Year after. Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
2008. You're right.
The year
you're right.
after. Yeah. Anyways, that's 2009. I just wanted to set the mood, see where we were.
Thank you.
And get ready to go. We are going to decide the game of the year for 2009, and then we are going to assign each of our nominees a superlative thing, like we did 2 weeks ago. So have no fear if your game's not chosen. You get to come up with your own game of the year category for it. Where do we want to start with this discussion? Because
I mean,
Let's
there's
start
the
with
big
Jake's
ticket
nominee.
item. Oh, okay. I was going to say, there's the big ticket item that the two of you mentioned and Will and I sort of talked about in the pre-show. I picked 2 games and then 1 honorable mention, which I just wanted to honorable mention G-Force, the game
wait. So,
based on the movie.
so the way this works is that each of us picks one game.
Yeah.
Then we decide from those 3, and from those 3, 1 wins and the other 2 get superlatives. So you can't pick 2 games. You got to pick 1
Okay,
game. But
then
you can
I'll
mention
pick
as many as you
one.
want.
yeah, you can mention as
But
many
you can
as
pick 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to shout out G-Force for our
Shout out
friends
to
at
G-Force.
unnamed former company.
Okay.
And then
Apple.
I was looking through this list, and 2009, just to set the stage again, let's just add a little bit additional
Or
historical
flavor.
perspective from what Will said. 2009, I was still at a point in my life where certain
Oh
screen
no.
time restrictions were still in place.
No porn.
And I didn't own any game consoles, so I wasn't like buying or playing a lot of current video games. So I have played very, very few of the games that released in 2009. So my picks are a little bit odd. The first one that jumped out at me was Torchlight, because that I was able to get for my PC and I played a ton of it. But then the other game that I just wanted to talk about, Torchlight's my pick. But I wanted to talk briefly about Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron for the PSP because to drop additional Jake Terrio lore into this discussion, I was homeschooled for a great many years. And
Did it have
in
Slave Leia? Was that your? That was your
no,
go-to, wasn't it?
no, I was
It
homeschooled,
was
and
Jabba.
in early 2009, around the time that Obama was being inaugurated, my parents took an anniversary trip to New York City for like a week. What this meant was I was dumped with a family friend, me and my brother were, and this family friend was kind of given the task of, okay, here's all the schoolwork that Jake and Sam need to do this week. Just make sure they do it. I took great advantage of this because she did not, in fact, know all the work that we were supposed to do. And I did basically nothing that week except play Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron
Hell
on
yeah.
her son's PSP because he went to public school. And so
Yeah.
he was gone
I
for
was-
most of the day.
Hell
I was just
yeah.
going to say it's one thing to be like, hey, can you watch our kids for a week? It's another thing to be like, can you also homeschool them for a
You teach
week?
them. No, we were self-directed
wild.
that week, and I self-directed myself to do basically nothing. So I got in big trouble when my mom finally came back, and I was like, "Oh, I did
Worth
no
it.
schoolwork this week, but I played so much Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron.
Good for you.
Great game, tons of fun. That's the first and last time I've ever played the PSP. But so my pick is Torchlight, because it is a a delightful addition to the Diablo-esque dungeon crawler canon.
Yeah.
And just like a really tight, well-designed little game that I probably played several hundred hours over the course of many years.
And I think it may have, at least in my mind, it's the first instance of you are out in the wild, you have shit you want to sell, give it to your pet, and they'll go to the town for you and bring back gold.
Well, a game that preceded, I think, from a number of the same developers, though not the same
Mhm.
company, Fate, I think had that mechanic also, because
Similar
I definitely
system.
I played Fate first, and then when I played Torchlight,
Fate would
I was
have
like,
it.
this feels a lot like Fate to the degree that they use some of the same sound effects. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, there's
gotcha.
definitely some sound engineer had a library and they left one company and went to the other and used a couple of the same. The gameplay's very similar, some of the sound effects are the same. But yeah, no.
Mhm.
Torchlight's really fun, and I don't know, I've never played a Diablo because this was another here's additional Jake lore. Wasn't allowed to because that's a game about the devil. And I've just never
The
gotten
real
around
one.
to actually playing any of them. But I don't know if Diablo has like in Fate and Torchlight, you can at the end of your like run, you can retire and pass on one item to your next character who will inherit that item and it'll get like a bunch of new stats. And so after a while, like if you pass on like a ring or something, after like 2 or 3, 4 runs through like all the dungeons, that thing is going to be super
Stacked.
overpowered. Which I
Nice.
thought was always pretty cool that you could
Oh,
just
And
like naturally
Yeah.
break the game.
And if I remember correctly, Torchlight kind of slid in there where Diablo 1, Diablo 2, very popular. People loved them. They're getting long in the tooth. There was not really enough in that micro genre at the time. So Torchlight got a lot of popularity because it slid into that genre when it was relatively empty, but it also did it incredibly well from a non-Blizzard team. And so it just felt like perfect moment, perfect time for that game.
Diablo 3 took forever. Wasn't it like 2013 it came out?
Something like that, yeah.
Torchlight had 4 years. Yeah, that game took forever.
It's a good
Great.
game. And
Torchlight.
I played a lot of Torchlight 2 when it eventually came out. But yeah, Torchlight. Torchlight's my pick. Game of the year.
Torchlight's your pick. I've never played it. Maybe I will someday.
Good.
Ian Gibson, you want to go next?
Yeah. So I'll start with my honorable mentions. Batman Arkham Asylum. Fantastic game. When I think about how much they introduced and the big swings they took with this game at the time, this was, on the tail end of the movie B game, where it was like, hey, we're going to do a movie tie-in game. All you really need to do is just basically do the plot of the movie and make it feel a little bit like your Iron Man, a little bit like your The Incredible Hulk, etc. Things like that. They didn't do that with this, right? So they've got an original story. They've created like this really good like Metroidvania in a way, because if you remember, it's a relatively open map, but it's like, okay, you got to go here first and that'll unlock this, and then you can go over here. What felt like at the time like a brand new combat system in terms of you're surrounded by guys, but we're going to let you know who's going to hit next, and you're trying to build your combo number to hit even bigger moves. Just an awesome game. Really feels like it birthed its own subgenre there. The other game is Scribblenauts. When I saw that on the list, Scribblenauts was big. It was big with kids, but either of you guys ever play Scribblenauts?
No.
Always heard of it. Heard it was good.
It's wild. It's one of those games that I have to give props to because it's such a crazy idea and they actually make it work. So basically the idea of Scribblenauts is that as you're playing the game, I believe it's more like a side scroller. You could be like, oh, I need a car. So you type in car and a car spawns, right? Or you can be like, I need a hammer, and a hammer spawns. So you're going around towns and there's like a little bit of platforming, but it's more like talking to people and like trying to figure things out and help them with stuff. But it had such a huge dictionary that you could do all sorts of stuff and the game would just let you do it. And that level of like freedom and creativity in a game felt very fresh at that time. And just seeing people being like, holy shit, I typed in banana and a banana formed, and now I have a bunch of bananas on the screen. It's just a wild concept to think about how to make that actually work, and it works, and it's a good game. It's crazy. So that's definitely worth calling out. However, my nominee for Game of the Year 2009, there's no other fucking game to pick. It's Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Minecraft came out, alpha test 2009. I believe the first survival test was also in late 2009. So this isn't the 1.0 release, but this is what Minecraft was basically hugely popular from the start, right? And I would say it probably took them one or two versions in, but it was in alpha when they kind of hit the Minecraft that we know and love. There was a lot of content missing. Like I said, they added survival mode a couple months later, but even just the creative mode, I've talked before about how Minecraft for a while was hosted on a website. So you would go to a website and play Minecraft through the browser. It was not a downloadable yet, but people would have servers. One of my favorite multiplayer games of all time is Minecraft Lava Mode, where you're just running around with people and the level slowly fills with lava and you're trying to build structures to survive. And then every 10 minutes, the lava's full of the level. Whoever survives wins, and then the map gets wiped. And then the fact that they've just built on that, I'm not going to. This is one of those statements. I made it earlier with Torchlight, where it's like, it's probably not true to say like Minecraft invented crafting in video games, but let's be honest here. Minecraft invented crafting in video games. It may not have been the first to do it, but it was the first one to do it in such a very good way and at a popular scale that to this day, it still feels good, right? To be like, oh, I need to make an axe. Oh, that's right. I just draw an axe with items.
Other games with crafting.
Yes, to this day. Yes. Yeah. And it's fantastic. So for them to create that core experience, not even to mention like the exploration, this was the early days of procedural generation, and this still feels like one of the few games where it's absolutely 100% worth it because you're coming across crazy vistas all the time, and you're like, I'm the first fucking person to see this weird hole in the ground with mountains on it, So yeah, it just has to be Minecraft, just all across the board. Incredible game, created its own genre, created so many new mechanics, and persists to this day. And even though we're playing, like we played Minecraft, this year, and even though we're quote unquote playing, Minecraft version 17 or whatever, if we hopped on and we booted up Minecraft survival mode, we would still have a shitload of fun. Like, it's not like that game has drastically changed. It's not like Fortnite where they've added so much shit on top that you can't go back to the original because it doesn't feel as good. No, this Minecraft alpha still feels just as fucking good. Absolutely timeless game. That's my nominee.
Yeah, my nominee, I said this to Ian on the Tuesday stream, but as soon as I Googled 2009 in video games and opened the wiki article, it's like, games came out such as Minecraft. And I went, oh, there's the pick. There's the answer. Yeah. It's Minecraft. But so Minecraft's definitely also my pick. But special shouts out to Assassin's Creed 2, which basically took everything about Assassin's Creed. I would say Assassin's Creed 2 is the progenitor of all the other Assassin's Creed games. Obviously 1 came first, but 2 is where so much was figured out and set up, and they made 2 sequels to 2 and 3 and then all the other ones. So it's a big game there. Halo 3 ODST, one of my favorite Halo games, one of my favorite video games. Great game. The Firefly reunion that is that game. Batman Arkham Asylum I also wrote down, and then I also wrote down Demon's Souls because I forgot that came out in 2009.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to say one thing I really noticed about 2009, it is a genre-setting year where you talked about Minecraft basically inventing sandbox survival crafting games. Yeah. Assassin's Creed 2 birthing the Assassin's Creed franchise, more or less. There were before, and I might be wrong. This you guys might know better, or Ian, you might. ODST had the fire team mode, which is a horde mode that I think really helped popularize horde mode in console games. Because then Gears of War 2 added a horde mode, and then the rest of that, and that's not quite a genre, but it helped popularize that. People still refer to, even this year when I was editing Gamescom, it's got Arkham Combat. It's Arkham Combat. It is so easy to say that. And then obviously Demon Souls with Soulsborne games. I mean, most of that credit goes to Dark Souls.
Asshole games.
But
games that are assholes.
Yeah. Demon Souls is the Assassin's Creed one in this case, where Dark Souls is really the one that boosted that. But I just want to give those a shout out. It's wild to see that stuff here. Like all within a year, at least 3 or 4 major genres being established.
That's a good point.
It is really cool to see. So even though it's a year where there's some, I wouldn't say weaker games, but there's a lot of games where it's just like, oh damn, you figured shit out this year. So Minecraft, right? Yeah.
So my proposal is, I mean, since 2 of us picked Minecraft, my proposal is Minecraft takes first place.
For sure.
Jake's Torchlight takes one of the honorable mentions, and I think the other honorable mention should be Arkham Asylum, because that was on Will and I's list.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
What Will and I talked about in the pre-show is the only reason I didn't pick Minecraft is because it didn't hit 1.0 until I think 2010 or 2011, and so in my brain I was remembering the browser version and being like, I certainly wouldn't pick that for Game of the Year. But certainly in like hindsight, retrospect, Minecraft is easily the big one.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit when we did it for the first time last episode, where it's not necessarily in 2009 what was your favorite game. It's not the state of the game at that time. It's like when you're looking back the last 25 years, what is the best, most important, pivotal, etc. Yeah. However you want to classify it, but over the whole 25 years, what's the 2009 game?
Yeah, it's Minecraft.
So now we need to talk about superlatives. So 2009 Game of the Year is Minecraft. Will, what would you like to pick the superlative for Batman Arkham Asylum?
Oh, sorry. I already picked best game in the Resident Evil franchise for that year, which would be Resident Evil 5.
No, fuck off.
I'm just kidding.
Sucks.
That game.
Should we do best Arkham game?
Best, yeah.
It actually, is the best Arkham game.
It is the best Arkham game. Actually, City's not bad. But
City's okay.
Arkham, right?
Yeah.
How do you spell? Did I spell right? Is that how you spell Arkham?
Yeah, that. There you go. Yeah, Arkham.
It's
yeah.
Arkham. Best Arkham game would be Batman. Arkham.
I'll double check.
It feels wrong.
It is. It's Arkham. Yeah,
Ark
with a K.
Arkham.
Yeah.
Damn. And then
So, Jake, what would you like for your superlative for Torchlight?
Hold on, I have to work this out, and I have to type it out before I can say it. Otherwise, I'll mess it up.
Okay.
He's working on it. Do. Yeah.
Man.
Talk about something else.
I would love another. Shut the fuck up, okay? I'm talking. I would love another Torchlight, because the problem is if you're trying to play one of those games now, you either get stuck in Diablo 2, Diablo 3, which they turn into basically a game as a service, or you have to go to one of those two other games which are basically MMO styles of this. Like there is not a nice, small, very good gameplay loop Diablo type game anymore.
Yeah, because I think Torchlight 3 is an MMO.
Would you like to read this out loud, Jake?
Yes, sorry. So, Torchlight wins the award for Best Game, where in the Switch port of its sequel, Jake named his pet llama after Will.
You named your pet llama after me?
In Torchlight 2 on the Nintendo Switch, yes.
That's
a
very vulnerable admission there.
You see me as a llama? I'll spit on you, Jake. Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime, bud.
I'll allow it.
Spit on that. How much she go?
Great. Okay. So those are our picks for 2009. That was easy. All of these are going to be super easy. 2004, what was our game of the year? Oh, Half-Life 2. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, Half-Life 2. That's it for that. Any news this week, Newsmaster Ian Gibson?
No, I think we should honestly just lose the news segment forever unless there's giant news or we're trying to recap like an E3. Because it's just... I'm tired of covering the daily news. A lot of it doesn't matter, and all we do is
more
just
people lost their jobs. Prices are going up. This got canceled.
People aren't listening to this podcast for the news, anyways.
Wow.
I just real brief aside. I talked about how I caught up on my podcast, so I've been sampling other podcasts, and I've been listening to some other podcasts in the video game space, and a lot of them have the same format we do, which we stole from other people, which is basically, what have you been playing? Okay, let's talk about the news. And it turns out the news section for all these podcasts is pretty much the same. And it's very, very rare that they have anything interesting or unique to say about it. The only time it gets entertaining is when they're joking and making jokes, and there's a lot of very good charisma and camaraderie between the people on the podcast. And so that's something that we have. And I'm like, every time I get to the news section, it ends up just being reading the headlines. So
yeah, we're not ever breaking any news. We're just,
no.
Yeah.
But if we got some hot take reactions and we really want to talk about E3 or this got announced, oh, that was really cool, we can totally do that. I just don't think we need a news section
David Cage game to come out.
The Star Wars one?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah, that's coming out.
Yeah, when David Cage gets convicted of sexual harassment in France.
Yes, we will be here.
We will be here.
To dish.
Okay, that's fine with me. We've got a wishlist spotlight. Someone wrote drone. Someone wrote this word. Someone wrote two words. One is drone.
Drone sector.
Is that one of you?
We were talking
who wrote
about
that?
the Obama Center.
I did not write either of these. These are not.
Okay.
I didn't
put the second one
but
in
it
here.
looks interesting.
The second one I put in here is Void War, which I found as a games you might also like based off of the game you put out in the Tower Dominion. Which this is just FTL Warhammer 40K is the best way I can describe it.
It does look like an FTL like.
And reviews seem really positive. And that's literally if you like FTL and Warhammer, but if you just like FTL, come play this game. It looks exactly like it, but gothic and awesome. So that's
Nice.
Void War, Command an Ancient Starship. Yeah, it looks really cool. Void War on Steam.
I guess I did put Drone Sector on here, even though I have no memory of that, because it is on my wish list, and this game does look cool. This is another game from Microprose, who has just been killing it in just like the arcadey military space.
This does look really interesting.
Oh yes, I have seen this game.
Yeah, politics aside, this is basically a drone simulator game, military drone. It's got a futuristic edge to it, but it looks like the idea is, you're buying drones and outfitting them with different weapons, and then you're having to, from drone cam, take care of various targets and handle situations. It just, yeah, weddings,
Schools.
find the U.S. citizen, take them out, things like that.
Deliver the package.
Yeah, Israeli double knock strategy, things like that. So it's take out some Al Jazeera journalists while you're at it. Politics aside, this does look really cool. This feels like a nice successor to AC, to the AC-130 levels from Call of Duty, where it's like, no, we're actually going to let you, get more into
do the war
side
crime yourself.
Yeah, and just seeing the way you're outfitting the vehicle, it gives me hopes that it's kind of like Ace Combat, where it's like you're going through these missions, but you've also got like a hangar that you're trying to upgrade and buy new weapons for to do better on the missions.
I should get my cousin on here. He's a drone operator.
Hell yeah.
Was a drone operator.
Damn.
That's Drone Sector. Drone Sector.
Okay, folks, go wishlist those. Drone Sector and Void War on Steam. That's gonna be it for the show, which means I get to hit the magic button that makes me finish. Folks, thank you so much for being here. We are Local Chat. Subpixelfilms.com is where you can find all of our beautiful, beautiful content. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern with some Super Mario Pokewill X. I'm standing outside the next gym, and I will devour it and consume it. I actually went to the next area, and the guy's like, you need a 4th badge. And I was like, oh, shit. So I went back, and we'll be doing that. Jake Terrio, what do you got going on? Anything? You working on anything cool?
I am working on stuff in the background, but watch Ian's Yakuza video, watch my Islanders video, and I don't know if we mentioned anything that games-wise that you have made a video about.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a video, but it could go either way. I gotta force myself to work on it more. We'll be back next week, folks. Bye.